Not only was I honored to be a bridesmaid for one of my really close friends' wedding, but I also got to be the hair and makeup artist for her special day. It is really crucial to not only look beautiful, but to feel confident and beautiful on your special day. So this is the look that I created for her, and I thought it would be helpful for you to see how I created this look. So let's begin. First off, I am using a moisturizer all over her face. Even if you have oily skin, moisturizing your skin before applying makeup is really crucial. You want the makeup to glide on beautifully. And of course, moisturizing your face, you can't leave out the lips. So I'm using the Estee Lauder 8-Hour Cream to prep her lips. So before I even do anything with the face as well as the lips, I am moisturizing it and leaving it just to drink up all of that moisture. And then we're moving on to the eyes. I'm applying the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer all over her lids. And of course, we want to also apply the primer on the bottom lash line because we are going to be using eyeliner, concealer, as well as eyeshadow underneath the eyes. And to perfect her foundation, I'm using the Benefits Professional to really smooth out and fill in those pore areas, such as right around her nose area and her cheeks. This is going to allow the foundation to glide on beautifully, as well as it's going to make the foundation last a lot longer around the T-zone area. Alright, and now we are going to move on to the brows. I'm using my favorite Naked Basics palette to fill in her brows. This is my favorite palette to use on anyone for their brows just because the colors in it is very neutral and there isn't any redness in the colors. If you have blonde hair like Emily, then you'll want to fill in your brows with a color that is 2 to 3 shades darker than your hair. If you have hair dark like I do, then of course you would want to go the opposite way and use a color that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than your hair. This is going to complement and frame your eyes. For today's eyeshadow, most of the colors that I'm going to be using are from either the Naked 1 or Naked 2 palette. And of course, you don't have to have both, but I am going to provide some alternative colors for you if you do have either or. So all over her lids, I'm applying Booty Call from the Naked 1 palette. This is just a color that is close to her skin tone, but it does have a little slight shimmer to it. And then onto the crease, I'm applying Tease and I'm blending it softly to create a more deep set crease. This is going to make her eyes look a lot larger, as well as it's going to be a great blending color for the rest of the look. If you do have warmer skin tones, then I do suggest a warmer matte brown, such as Buck from the Naked 1 palette. If you do have fair skin like Emily, I do suggest spending a little bit more time in blending this color because you don't want it to look too harsh. Next, I'm going in with a more shimmery color, YDK, from the Naked 2 palette. And I'm concentrating this on the outer part of the eye. This is definitely going to give it a lot more depth, and you'll see the gradient effect that it's going to create in a little bit. This is the main part of the eye. Usually Emily is used to wearing black eyeliner on an everyday basis, so that's why I'm going in with a black eyeliner. If you or your client or anyone that you're using this look for usually isn't used to wearing eyeliner, then I do suggest using a darker brown. So what I'm doing is I'm lining from the outside of the eye inwards and then using a very concentrated, precise brush to blend out the eyeliner. This is really going to give it a very soft look, yet it's going to accentuate your eyes very, very well. Be really careful and take your time when you're doing this, because any eyeliner that has a really intense color as well as the longevity of it is very good, it's going to dry pretty fast. So you want to go a little bit at a time and then start blending. Using a more precise brush is definitely going to help you blend that liner out well. If you use a bigger brush, then your blending won't be in a very concentrated area, and it's going to make the look a lot more muddier as well as messy. This is definitely going to help intensify in one certain area, but also diffuse the color beautifully. And as you can see at the end of the liner, I'm really concentrating on the blending. I want the line to look like it's just there with not knowing where it's beginning and where it ends. So we're going to continue to do this until you get the right amount of smokiness that you'd like. You can go a little bit less or a little bit more depending on the eye shape as well as what the client wants based on intensity wise. I find that this is a look that Taylor Swift usually rocks, and I think it really accentuates her eyes beautifully. Alright, and then the next step is just using a highlighter. This is Virgin from the Naked One, and I'm applying it right underneath her brows. This is definitely going to bring a lot of light and lift into her eyes. Lastly, for the eyes, what we're going to do is use a brush that we used earlier for the crease, and we're going to blend everything just so that there isn't any harsh lines. To intensify the lash line, we're going to use an angled brush to apply a black shadow. This is also going to set that eyeliner to prevent any creasing, and I think it makes the lash line look a lot thicker. And now, to balance out the top heaviness that we've already created, I'm using the same liner in dotting little slash motion and applying it right onto the lash line and then blending it out. Then using that same precise brush, I am blending out the harsh darkness of the black shadow, and then I'm applying it also onto the bottom lashes to blend out everything. And this is optional, but I find that lining the waterline in a dark color really accentuates Emily's blue eyes. It really definitely makes it pop. And then in the corner of her eyes, I am using a really bright highlighter. This is the Pigment in Vanilla by MAC, one of my favorite highlighters. And this really brings in a lot of light. And then next, we are using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light for her foundation. I love this foundation for photography. I think it makes the skin look so flawless, and it's light, so it isn't going to cover too much where you look like you're wearing a mask, but it gives you a really great flawless airbrush look. I'm using a buffing brush because I find that it applies the foundation much better. This foundation, it dries to a more satin matte finish, which is ideal for brides just because you don't want too much shininess in photography. You don't want it to look like you are oily. You want to add in the shine where you want it rather than having it everywhere. If you are wearing your hair up, I do suggest applying the foundation lightly onto the ears and all the way down to the neck. This is definitely going to make the skin look more realistic, and it's going to blend in much better. After applying the foundation with a blending brush like this one, I am going in with a smaller, precise brush to apply the foundation on areas that she needs a little bit more coverage, which is under the eyes, around the nose, anywhere that there's a little bit of blemish, and this is just going to double up the coverage. And of course, any bride is going to probably not sleep too well the night before, so a very heavy concealer definitely helps. I think a concealer that is a little bit brighter than your skin tone will bring the look together. By applying it underneath the eyes, you're lifting the eyes and make the bride look more awake and refreshed. And again, using another precise, smaller brush, I'm applying a translucent powder. This is by TrueBlood, and I'm just applying it in areas that she needs it. Emily's skin is dry, so I don't want to over powder her skin. I'm just applying a very thin, sheer amount over the areas that I think needs to set the makeup. For any photography makeup, I always use bronzer to contour, not only because you need it, but it's because of the foundation and the light in the photography. It's going to wash out the face, and what the bronzer is going to do is going to help bring a little bit of structure back into the face. What's important is to sculpt the cheekbones as well as the jawline. In order to get the best effect from bronzer is to actually look ahead and apply the bronzer in a 3 shape, from the temple of the face down to the cheek underneath the cheekbone and then under the jawline. It's very important to blend out the bronzer, and especially for those who have fair skin like Emily. You don't want to be able to see any type of harsh lines, and you also want it to look very natural, just like if it was a shadow that has been cast. Next, I am using Amazonian Clay Blush in Expose to put on the apples of her cheek. I think this is a perfect color for anyone of all skin colors, just because this is a very natural color that brings in a little bit of rosiness to the cheeks. And of course, my favorite part is the highlighter on top of the cheeks. It gives the bride a very beautiful glow, and it catches the light in a way where it looks very radiant. And then next, we are just going to prep the lashes to apply false lashes. This is Emily's personal mascara that I'm using. I do advise that even though you have beautiful, long, thick lashes, I do find that using a false lash is definitely going to make a difference on the eyes. It's going to make it pop, and it's going to accentuate the eyes in photography. After the lashes are put on and dry, I am making sure that the lash glue is not bothering the corner of her eyes. And then going in with my favorite Clinique bottom lashes. This is going to prevent the eyeshadow as well as the eyeliner from creasing. And definitely if you have an outside wedding, the humidity is definitely going to affect your makeup. What this mascara does is going to lock the lashes in place and it won't smear. Now I am removing all of that beautiful moisture that we actually put into her lips so that we can apply the Infallible lipstick. This is my favorite to use for brides as well as for anyone for special occasions where they don't want to spend time reapplying their lipstick. What it is a lacquer that you put on top of the lips, and then once it dries, you will apply another layer. After that, you're going to apply a moisturizing, hydrating lip balm on top to seal the color as well as to help hydrate the lips. I love this product and I definitely suggest it if you do have a special occasion that you are going to go and you need that lip color to last. Alright, so now this look is completed. Since I did have her hair in clips so that it could be kept away from her face, her hair got really flat, so now I'm just applying a little bit of dry shampoo and running my fingers through it. Always works and does the trick beautifully. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that it inspired you for your special day. You don't always have to have someone do your makeup, you can always do it yourself. And also, I think this is a great look for anyone. It's just a really great way to enhance your eyes. That's what a bridal makeup should be. You shouldn't look different. You should just enhance what you already have. And I think Emily looks so beautiful. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you would like to see how I created her hair for her special day, then please click on the screen right now for that hair tutorial. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoy this and I will see you in my next video. Bye!